Hey there. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, welcome back. I had planned on doing a review of this truck at the 1 year mark, but I moved, which caused a delay in getting this out. So instead of doing a 1 year review on this, I'm doing a 20,000 mile review, which has been about a year and a half. So stick around, I'll walk you through my points, counterpoints, and a list of modifications that I've done to this truck and my thoughts on it. So in late 23, early 24, I had been looking at upgrading my half-ton Silverado to a 3/4 ton. I'd been using the half-ton to pull my camper, and I was right at the upper limit of what it was rated for, so I really needed to go to a 3/4 ton. So I had been looking at multiple different ones, and I eventually found this one. So that leads me to my first point of why I picked this particular truck, and that was the color and the sport package. Now the sport package added the upgraded headlights, it did the color matched bumpers, it also had the blacked out badges. So my first point is the color. It is slate gray metallic, and although it is called a metallic paint, it needs to be absolutely spotless, and you need to be right up on it to actually see the metal flakes. I'll show you a little bit of that here. So that shows that it needs to be absolutely clean for you to tell that this is a metallic paint, and even then it's really tough. But that leads me to my next point, and that's the details. Some of the details on this truck don't stick out when you first see them, but you'll start to notice them when you get in and pay a little closer attention, such as the logo in the tail lights. It's on both sides. I like the outline in black around the tail light. Complements the black logos that you see around the truck. Also up here on the front, you have the logo here in your amber reflector. If you look right inside the headlight there, you have faux carbon fiber on the in the headlight. So a lot of little things that you don't maybe not notice at first, but it definitely stands out. Also like the blacked out logo, the Z71 there in the grill. It's just something that's pretty nice. The one thing that I don't like when I'm talking about details, and it's part of this package, is the painted bumpers. They are susceptible to chips. So I have a lot of rock chips. When you get you can maybe see some there. And I'm just, it looks good, but I think as far as durability over the lifetime of this truck, that may become something of a liability that requires you to either repaint the bumpers, both front and back. The back one gets scratched up just as much as the front one, and I didn't think that was going to be true, but as I've used this, I've noticed that I start to get scratches, chips, and it just detracts from the overall look of the truck. The next thing I want to discuss is this is the gas version. The 6.6 liter gas came with the Allison 10-speed transmission. This is the first year of the 10-speed transmission on the gas engine. I do like it, but I'm kind of perplexed on their shift strategy that they have for this truck. If you've ever been in a different truck brand, Ford and Chevy actually co-developed this 10-speed transmission. And if you drive a Ford truck, it will skip shift, meaning when you accelerate, it may be in first gear when you take off, and depending on how hard you have the accelerator pressed down, it will skip up to fourth gear, and then maybe sixth gear, and then eighth gear and 10th gear. This truck, their shift strategy at General Motors was, it's got 10 speeds, we're going to go through every gear. So it always goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 10, doesn't skip a gear, but it does skip down. So if you're going to pass somebody and you step on it, it will drop down 3 or 4 gears, but then again, it will have to shift back up through all 4 gears, or whatever, however many it went down, before it gets to that the 10th gear, 10th speed. So I'm a little perplexed by their shift strategy, but overall it's been a good transmission. It's very smooth. It does deliver minor improvements to fuel economy over the previous transmission, but it is very smooth, so I will give it that. While we're here talking about the transmission, it is mated to the 6.6 liter gas engine instead of the Duramax. I don't have the type of drive cycle that a diesel truck would respond well to. Besides that, it still is, $10,000 option to go from this 6.6 liter gas to the Duramax. I do like the Duramax. They have great power, great for towing, but for me, the option of gas or diesel, I went with gas just because it's better suited for the way I will be driving this truck and have driven this truck. So some things that I do like about the engine are the power. It does have good power. It's rated at 402 horsepower, I believe, which is, it's substantial. It's a great engine for what I use it for, and it sounds really good. But I also installed a new exhaust. And it sounds a little better, in my opinion. Some of the counterpoints to that are, it is a thirsty engine. The best fuel economy I get is somewhere around 16 or 17 miles to the gallon, depending on my drive cycle. And another counterpoint to it is the throttle mapping. I wasn't a very big fan of the stock throttle map, simply because when I'm towing the trailer, I would have to have the throttle pretty much halfway down all the time I was towing. And if I was trying to accelerate and wanted to shift down a gear, I would have to almost have my foot to the floor before it would downshift. So I'll address how I went about changing that here in a little bit when I talk about the modifications. The next thing I want to talk about is the interior. And Chevrolet did an excellent job when they upgraded these interiors from the previous generation with the small screen and the analog gauges for the driver. This is a great setup. I really like it. I think it's probably one of the better looking interiors. I know that the GMC has one upgrade above this that you can't get on Chevrolet, but overall, the design is really good. It's very easy to use. It's intuitive. Whether you're trying to change the gauges here, or when you're interfacing with the main stereo controls. I also like the fact that you have the hidden storage. When you press this button, you get the upper glove box. You have the lower glove box. You have lots of storage here in the center console. I also did one small upgrade here, and I got a different tray so that I can have a little more organized storage here. But other than that, it's very, very large, lots of leg room, front and back, lots of headroom, and it's a nice place to be. One of the things that I don't like is this piano black trim that you see here. It does look really good when it's clean. It is a dust magnet. And I have a rag in my glove box. You may have just seen that, just to try to get that stuff off of here. I mean, the dust and the fingerprints drives me nuts. I don't know how. I mean, you could add a texture to it or some type of matte finish, but this piano black, it looks good when it's clean, I'll give it that, but in overall use, I'm not a big fan of it. I also don't like this chrome strip here, and up here there's times when you'll be driving during the day and it'll catch the sun and just totally blind you. So a couple things that they can do a little better when they make the next adjustment to this interior. One more thing about the interior that I think is really bad, and that is this giant pillar, the giant A-pillar. When you pair it with that tow mirror, provides a huge blind spot. It's on both sides. So whenever you pull up to a stop sign, that makes it very difficult to sometimes see oncoming traffic. Because it is such a huge blind spot. That would also be one more thing I would have them address. I'm not sure what you would do to remedy that situation besides having your mirrors in a different location, but the blind spot on that A-pillar is pretty big. Final point on this truck is it's big. The size is very large, but that's just kind of the way trucks are nowadays. It provides lots of room on the interior. There's lots of space. You feel comfortable, front or back seat. But the counterpoint to that is it is huge. It has a very large turning radius, and it's just overall a big vehicle. It's not comfortable in very small urban situations, but when you're out on the freeway, out on the highway, it's a very comfortable cruiser. So those are my points and counterpoints to what I like about this. Now on to the modifications that I've done. One of the first modifications that I did was I installed this oil catch can. It keeps the oil from recirculating back from your positive crankcase ventilation system back into the intake. It gives it an opportunity to collect here before it goes back into the intake and builds up deposits on the back of your valves. I have had this on probably since within the first 400 or 500 miles of owning this vehicle, and it has picked up a lot of oil. I wouldn't say a lot of oil, a lot of vapor that comes through. I have seen folks say that this engine has, it supposedly doesn't do that, but there is a lot of vapor that makes its way back through. I've also seen folks say that the only thing they get in their catch can is a lot of water vapor. I haven't had that at all. It's been oil and fuel. And so anytime I take that off and I take a look in and take a smell, it's gas and oil. That's all you're smelling. And that one little catch can runs pretty much one oil change, so 5,000 or 6,000 miles, and I'll empty it at that point. But other than that, I don't touch it. I don't have to worry about it. I just know that it's keeping the vapors and the oil from going back in and creating deposits on the back of the valves. So anything I can do to improve the longevity of this engine, I wanted to do, and that was one of the first things that I did. The next thing that I did, and I showed you a little earlier, was I added the MBRP exhaust to this. It's a catback exhaust. Greatly improves the sound, but it also helps the engine breathe a little better. I didn't see any improvement in fuel mileage or anything like that, but whenever I was towing, it always felt like it was restricted, and this helped open it up. Another one of the first modifications I did was install this kicker subwoofer. It has its own amplifier on it. It ties into the system. allows you to actually feel the music and hear it, which I'm an audiophile, so I enjoy that, which also led me to switch out all of the door speakers for kicker speakers all the way around. And I added an Alpine amp to power the door speakers. Tremendous improvement. I can listen to my music on the highway with my windows down and still hear it. So that's one I would highly recommend. One of the last modifications, you may have noticed it when I was in here, I was talking about the throttle map. It's this Madness Go pedal. So it helps, well, I shouldn't say it helps. It does remap the throttle. It has 5 different settings, and then there's 5 different maps for each setting. So you have traffic, you know, your eco, sport, and race. Race is ridiculous because of the way it maps the throttle to where you just barely touch it and you're at 100%. I typically run it in sport mode and maybe at the mid setting, which for me is great. It's how General Motors should have mapped this throttle to begin with. So when I'm towing, I don't have to be at half throttle the whole time and go almost full throttle to get it to downshift. This is maybe what you would normally feel when you're driving at maybe a quarter throttle, and then maybe half throttle if you really want to get going. So this is one other modification that I would highly recommend. It also has a theft setting where you can shut off the pedal completely. So if you are in an area where you're concerned about that, you can do that. You can lock out the throttle. And I've tried it on accident. And when it was engaged, the truck ran, but pressing on the throttle did nothing. It just idled. So I quickly reset it, and I was back in the saddle, back where I was supposed to be. But this is, there are many different throttle modifications that are out there. This is the one that I used, and I would highly recommend it. And it sits here out of the way in my armrest. So just a nice, quick, easy modification, and that was it. So I've had this truck now for, as I said in the beginning, 20,000 miles. It's been about a year and a half, closing in on 18 months that I've had this truck, and I've had 0 problems with it. I haven't heard a lot of issues on the 2500s. There have been some issues that have popped up on the 1500s with the engines, both the 5.3 and 6.2. This is a totally different family. So the issues that they're having on the half tons, I don't expect to run into on this one. Like I said, I've had this one for a year and a half now. I've towed with it. I've had one trip that was probably close to 2,000 miles. Had 0 issues with this truck. Would highly recommend the truck to anybody. Would also answer any questions that you may have. So that's my review of the 2024 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, stay tuned for more content. Thanks.